Our top story tonight at 6:30, there seems to be an increase in anxiety across the Bay Area given some of these recent events.
From the smash and grabs, the department store robberies and burglaries, deadly shootings, sideshows, it's just a lot going on. Tonight we want to take a moment to reflect and also get some techniques for coping. So joining us live with some advice, author and motivational speaker Mike Robbins joining us from the North Bay. Thank you so much. Let's just start with setting the scene about what's going on today. The Retailers Association labeled this activity that's going on with these burglaries and robberies domestic terrorism. Some people feel it's a growing sense of lawlessness, that there's a breakdown of some sort in civil society. How do you characterize what's going on?
Well, I mean, I think it's really sad, Pam, and it's really scary, you know, for all of us here in the Bay Area and other places around the country. You know, we hear about a school shooting in Michigan, and we know what's been happening in Oakland and all throughout the Bay Area. So I think it's definitely concerning. And on top of, you know, almost 21 months of us dealing with COVID, and we know about a new variant. I mean, there's a lot of things that are definitely concerning and scary for us here in the Bay Area, around the country, around the world.
There are people who have holiday traditions, and one of them that I'm aware of with my wife and her girlfriends is to go to Union Square and go have lunch at Neiman Marcus, go shopping and all that. One of her girlfriends said, "I'm not doing it. I'm too afraid to go." Is that unusual, and how do you deal with something like that?
No, again, I think the fear is real. I mean, you think of, again, all the social anxiety we've all dealt with over the last year and a half or so, and now with recent crime, it makes sense. And I think, look, we all have to take certain precautions in our lives, and we have to be real with ourselves and with our friends and our family about what we feel comfortable doing and not doing these days. And it's unfortunate, of course. But, you know, look, I think I say this all the time to the people that I work with. I don't think any of us are really playing with a full deck emotionally these days, given everything that we've been through. And I think this recent, crime spree that we're seeing is, of course, very concerning for a number of reasons. But I think it's really important that we all take care of ourselves as best as we can.
So there's a sense of a collective stress, just like when 9/11 happened and the whole nation reacted. And then, of course, everybody has their own individual stresses, just life, day-to-day issues. Are they different in terms of how you address them and what you should do about it?
Yeah, you know, Pam, I recently wrote a book called We're All in This Together. It came out right as we were going into the pandemic, and I had people asking me, are we really all in this together? And what's become abundantly clear to me, especially in the last year and a half or so, is it's more like we're all in the same storm, but we're in different boats. And so these things affect us collectively, like 9/11, like the pandemic, like what's happening recently here in the Bay Area, but they also impact us differently based on our own personal circumstances, our own family situation, our own mental health situation. So we have to adjust accordingly and respond based on our own situation and our own needs.
Well, we can all point to problems that we've discussed here, individual problems we all have individually, plus these bigger problems with the smash and grabs and COVID and all of that. How do we cope? Give us some techniques on how we can deal with these things. Let's say I want to go to Union Square, but I have trepidation about that. How can I cope to make that happen?
Well, Ken, the first thing we have to do is be real about how we feel. You know, there's nothing wrong with feeling scared. There's nothing wrong with feeling sad or angry. I mean, look, even sports stars like our Klay Thompson the other night after the game, you could see his emotion. You know, he's coming back from 2 years of injury. And I think being real with our feelings is really important. And if we don't feel safe or comfortable going out to see friends or going to Union Square, as you were saying, that's okay. I think we got to be honest about that first and foremost, because we can't selectively mute emotions. If we say, I'm not going to feel scared, or I'm not going to feel sad, or I'm not going to feel angry, that also means we don't have as much access to love and to joy and to gratitude. So being real is the first step in really taking care of ourselves.
You actually have 4 points that you mentioned to our producer that we want to put the graphic up on the board. Of course, being real about how you feel was one of those. Brittany, if you can put that graphic up, and then maybe you can just walk us through the other 3 on the list.
Yeah. Another thing, Pam, we can do is focus on self-care, taking care of ourselves. And our mental health is as important, if not more important, than our physical health. So, you know, we think of self-care as, you know, getting rest and eating and exercising, which it is, but also sometimes just taking a break, putting our phone down, writing in a journal, meditating, talking to a friend. There are lots of ways we can care for ourselves. And when things get really stressful and scary, there's a tendency to think that that's like a luxury, but it's really a necessity. Another thing that's super important to do, and very hard for a lot of us, is actually asking for help, asking for support. You know, often when I'm speaking to groups of people, whether it's on Zoom these days or, you know, back before COVID when I was with larger groups of people, I would ask the audience, how many of you like helping other people? And almost everyone in every group I've ever been in front of will raise their hand. But then I ask a follow-up question, which is, how many of you love asking other people for help? And very few people raise their hands. So if we can actually reach out for help, not only might we get some help, but we actually give the people around us, the people in our lives, or even professionals, the opportunity to do something which most people love to do, which is help. There's a ton of support and help out there for all of us, especially these days, even though at the same time, a lot of people are feeling the effects of what we've been through. And then the final thing is, and you know, we just got through the Thanksgiving holiday, we're moving into it's Hanukkah now and Christmas and New Year's. But if we can reflect on some of the things that we're grateful for, being grateful doesn't mean that everything's perfect. It just means we actually stop and focus on things that we do appreciate and the blessings in our lives, because there's many of those even in stressful times.
That's true. Of course, the fear is real. I mean, we're seeing the video every day. The fear is real. This is kind of a compound question, and we're running out of time, but I do want you to address how do we also deal with the fear, also guard against slipping back into stereotyping, to categorizing people based on the pictures we keep seeing, when it's been such a fight to try and turn those attitudes around?
You know, that's a really deep question, Pam, and I think it's hard. You know, I mean, there are some things that come up for us viscerally, but ultimately, you know, I like to think of myself as an optimist and a realist at the same time. We've got to protect ourselves. We have to be smart and be safe. And at the same time, you know, I think most people are good at heart. And so I think for us to be honest about our fears, to take precautions when we need to, and trust in the goodness of humanity, even if there are things that we're seeing recently that may question that. I mean, I do really believe at my core that we are all in this together, even though sometimes it feels like we're separated from one another.
Yeah, it's easy to be cynical, but a lot of times there's no reason to be, because people really genuinely deep down try to be good, we think, most of us. Mike Robbins, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.